What's going on, you guys? TBR here, back yet again with another King of Fighters All-Star video. And in today's video, it's Saturday, so you guys know what that means. It's time for the Saturday Chat and Chill. And in this installment of the Saturday Chat and Chill, considering the fact that we are getting a very odd weekend maintenance leading into a very, very large update, if you guys have any questions on that update or wondering about that update, I did break down the update notices in yesterday's video. You can check it out, link will be in the description. But in today's video, we're going to go ahead and tie up a loose end, as well as kind of cut a video that will lead us into that update, which is of course going to be the breakdown for the character reveal trailer for EX on Hell. They did go ahead and release this trailer yesterday, and they did go ahead and make some edits to the way they present these trailers as well, which I think is definitely an improvement over the way they've done them in the past. In fact, I would wager that this might be the best one that they've ever given us, just based solely from a layout standpoint, because it does give us a lot more information. But we're going to go ahead and take a look at everything in today's video as it pertains to that EX on Hell reveal trailer. But before we go ahead and get into all of that and more, make sure if you guys haven't already done so, you smash that like button and subscribe. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the trailer breakdown.
Cue that intro.
Alright, you guys, now as always, we will have a link in the description to this video if you guys want to check it out for yourselves and somehow you haven't already seen it. But with that being said, before we go ahead and slow it down, let's take a look at it in all of its glory, and then we'll go ahead and slow it down and see what there is to see. So, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Now, as is per tradition with these EX trailers, it looks like we are going to get a bit of a nostalgia trip with some of the other iterations of the character. So, just goes to show, at least in this instance, that Netmarble hasn't completely forgotten about the gold border characters, right? So, first things first here. On Hell's character art, right? So, On Hell looks fantastic. The character model here, I feel like, looks absolutely great. I don't see anything about this character model that anybody should really take any sort of umbrage with. In general, it looks very, very good, very, very solid, looks just like her KOF 15 iteration. Obviously, it's not going to be in the same art style necessarily, but still, as far as a design standpoint is concerned, On Hell is looking absolutely fantastic. So if you're a fan of On Hell, you should be pretty happy with the design here, but then again, when it comes to the way Netmarble's team does their artwork in this game, as we've always said, that is definitely one of their strongest suits in this game, so yeah, definitely a big fan of what I'm seeing with the character model, but let's go ahead and jump back into the trailer here, look at the skills. So, one big thing that did change with this trailer is they actually changed the format from what we've been used to with these trailers. So you're going to see in this trailer, if you haven't already seen it already, that they do go ahead and show us exactly what the skills are going to be, so that is really, really cool. I'm very happy they decided to do this. Now, of course, we get her overall finisher here, which is going to be her 3PG card that we are going to be getting added in. And in general, yeah, she looks fantastic. So we can go ahead and back it up here. What we'll go ahead and do, as always, is we'll slow it down, but this will give us a better idea of what we're taking a look at here. I'm going to go ahead and jump over to, we don't need to see all this in slow motion. About right here should be fine. All right, so the first thing that we're going to be seeing here is we're of course going to be seeing the core finisher, right? This is going to be her core finisher to start off the trailer. So basically we get her introduction, then we get the overall core finisher start up here. And then we're going to see that this is going to be one of her finishers. So with this, one of the things that is going to start to cause me a bit of concern with her right off the bat is the fact that right around here, so this character is going to have a fair bit of grabs. Now, this is something that we pretty much knew was going to happen. Of course, On Hell is a character that uses a lot of grapples. So this is a character that we already knew going in. I love her boots, by the way. I love that little detail on her character. She looks so adorable. But when it comes to grab skills in general, of course, that isn't necessarily ideal in past iterations of characters. However, ever since they went ahead and started adding in those secondary effects to compensate for these characters with these grab skills against characters they can't grab, kind of like what they did with SS Blue Mary, as well as more recently EX Akuma, in general, this doesn't necessarily mean much. It could mean that her hand going through his head. Not like a rogue finger just sticking out of his temple. My God. It's more devastating than I thought. But anyway, when it comes to this, as with what we've seen with those other characters, I don't necessarily think that this is going to be that big of a deal, unless we're talking about the 3PG finisher, which could end up being an enormous deal, but we'll talk more about that. Let's continue through the skills here. Again, this is the core finisher, and it seems like it's decently long for a core finisher. It isn't going to be anything that is going to be on the shortest end that we've seen with these, but right here, first thing you got to notice, again, I told you guys that they are showing off the skills here. So basically we have 4 icons, right? So we're going to see that Angel should end up having a derived skill because none of these are going to be the finishers. You'll see this. These first 2 here look like they're probably part of a derived skill. And then we'll have the S2 and the S3. I could be wrong. These might not even be in any sort of order, but at the same time, that is what I'm seeing here as far as what I can tell. Somebody can let me know in the comments if I'm off base with that, but I feel like that's what we're seeing here. Considering we've already seen the core finisher, we're going to be seeing the 3PG finisher separate, and they do go ahead and show all 4 of these in action. So it seems like they are going to follow kind of in the shoes of what they did with EX Kyo previously, where we're going to be seeing a derived skill on this kit, but that is just what I'm seeing here. So basically, first thing that I notice about these skills in general is Angel is looking very, very quick, right? She's looking very, very fast, very, very lethal in that regard. So right here, she's going to teleport behind, and then she's going to do the overhead kick, and then she's going to go straight into the uppercut. So again, I feel like this is a derived skill here. More than likely, that is what we're seeing here, and that is going to explain why we see 4 skill icons that don't include either of the finishers. That's usually been the case. So again, looking like this is going to be the case for her. Now, next up here, we're going to get the next skill. This one, of course, does have a grab incorporated. And in general, again, we're going to have to wait and see if she gets any sort of iteration of Stun Fang or anything like that. You're not going to be able to tell in these trailers, for those of you who haven't been around the game for very long. You're usually not going to be able to tell anything like any sort of hyper armor, dots, or so on and so forth. Usually that stuff is edited out, so they don't really want to show you that type of thing. So we aren't going to be able to see any of that. But again, the biggest concern that I have looking at all these skills has nothing to do with the speed, because the speed looks fantastic. The skills themselves look very good. It looks like she's going to have a really nice amount of off the grounds like usual. The only problem that I have, like I said, is I do worry about her being able to grab things such as guild raid bosses. Now, generally speaking, a lot of these grab skills against things such as Omega Rugal, as an example, if you're going up against Omega Rugal with a grab, typically speaking, if Omega Rugal is walking forward or backward, basically, if he's not in the middle of an action and he's moving either forward or backward, you can get him with those grabs a lot of the time. We see that with things such as our grab finishers and so on. However, the timing on that, you really have to be very quick and very efficient at. Otherwise, that is one instance where this type of thing isn't necessarily going to be the greatest. However, again, if she gets some sort of burst damage against a character she can't grab, then that'll pretty much make it a moot point. But I hate to harp on it, but it is something that's a big concern, right? For a lot of Angel fans, that's going to be a big, big thing. But in general, it looks like one of her strongest suits is going to be the fact that she's very, very quick. Now, this is going to be the 3PG finisher. We'll go ahead and back it up one more time. I'll show you guys. So again, 4 icons. We already saw the core finisher at the beginning. This is clearly going to be the last skill that they're showing off here. And then, of course, we get into the 3PG. So in general, we'll have to wait and see what this ends up looking like in action, because this is honestly where I'm most concerned, right? Because if this is a skill that she can't use against the guild raid bosses and it gets canceled out, then that's pretty much going to ruin her against guild raid. And I'm not trying to, be a Debbie Downer on her, but as we all know, she needs a 3PG finisher in guild raid in order to be really effective. And that isn't even including dots and things like that, right? So we really need to hope that this is something that can be used against the guild raid bosses. I would wager that it probably will, considering that this is an EX character and it is going to be a new character, so Netmarble usually is going to adjust accordingly to get people hype. But in general, it is worth noting. Another thing worth noting here, and I've seen people bring this up, and I'd kind of wondered about this myself when we saw that it was going to be the KOF 15 on Hell. But in general, right here, people are all butthurt about the fact that they went ahead and raised the placement of the character's head so that it's not, you know, having fun with a boat. But I think that that's a really silly thing to nitpick, to be honest. I know that for some people, that kind of stuff's a big deal, but to me, it makes no difference whatsoever. I'd be more concerned about whether or not this character is going to be able to use this finisher against guild raid bosses and other things, but hey, everybody has their priorities, right? Another thing that you'll see added in here are these hearts, so that's kind of cute. I got those in there as well. But in general, I mean, overall, like I said, she's very quick. She's got a lot of off the grounds for her kit. She looks like she has a drive skill. We don't know anything about any sort of hyper armor or dots or anything of the like. And in general, the biggest question mark is going to be whether or not they give her an effect that is going to give her burst damage on grabs, which I'm sure they probably will. Then we see the KOF 15 logo there as well, but in general, we don't have very much longer to wait. We only have another couple of days, so we'll have her in our hands very, very soon. In general, character model looks fantastic, and again, I'm very happy with what I'm seeing from a design standpoint. You know, changing the 3PG finisher aside, which doesn't bother me personally, but then again, I don't really have a horse in the race. She isn't like a favorite for me or anything, so, you know, I'm sure maybe some purists out there that may not like that, but hey, it is what it is. Anyway, you guys, that's pretty much going to be what we can tell from this. There really isn't a whole lot else in here that you can really take away from it. In general, I'm pretty happy with what I'm seeing for her overall. It looks like exactly what I would have expected for a character like this. So in general, I'm really, really hoping that they do give her burst on these grabs and that 3PG finisher is effective against bosses that are normally not able to be grabbed, but time will tell. Anyway, you guys, let me know in the comment section down below what you think of EX on Hell's trailer. Is there anything in here I missed? Because I very well could have. There could be something in here that I'm not seeing. But in general, I feel like it's fairly straightforward. But you guys can let me know in the comment section down below. The next time I talk to you guys, we will be talking about this update as it will be live when I come back to you guys next. So make sure that on Sunday you get all of your dailies done early, because we will have a maintenance going into the 529 update. So you guys need to make sure that you get that stuff done. But in general, you guys, if you have any questions about the update, I did cut a video late yesterday. You can check that out. Link will be in the description if you have any questions there. But I will see you guys on Monday for the 529 update breakdown. Until then, you guys enjoy your weekend. For those of you in the States like myself, enjoy the 3-day holiday, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.
Continue.